Nintendo's games are known for being bright, colourful, and family-friendly, sometimes even to a fault. But that's what's driven franchises like Splatoon and Mario Kart to their monumental levels of success. Which is why it seems so strange that there's one franchise in one part of the world that is full of really offensive language. That part of the world is Latin America, and the franchise is Pokémon. Let's talk about the Nintendo series that is full of swear words. So, before we talk about Pokémon itself, we first need to quickly cover some background info on Latin America. For a long time, almost all video games that came to Latin America, aka countries like Mexico and Argentina, weren't properly translated for the region. They would often get released in English, or just as commonly, Spanish. Now, Spanish is the most widely spoken language in Latin America, but it's not the same Spanish that's spoken in Spain. In fact, there's not exactly one Latin American Spanish either, as specific local dialects vary a lot from country to country. But Latin American Spanish as a whole differs greatly from the Spanish spoken in Spain, and games written in Spain Spanish aren't always easy to understand for Latin American players. And this affects a huge group of people. Among the 480 million estimated global Spanish speakers, over 400 million of them are from Latin America, according to some estimations. In other words, video game developers really shouldn't be screwing up the localizations of their games in this huge region. So, up until 2007, Nintendo didn't provide specific translations for Latin America. They would just release their games in English or European Spanish. But with the release of the Zelda game Phantom Hourglass, that finally changed. And looking at a comparison of the game's Spain Spanish and Latin American Spanish translations, you can really see how different the translations end up being. Nowadays, just about every one of Nintendo's big franchises gets unique translations for Latin America, with one exception, Pokémon. But why does that really matter? I mean, as an English speaker from the United Kingdom, I personally am very used to putting up with Americanisms like honour without a U, or phrases like I could care less. It's just something you have to expect as a player. But the differences between the two dialects of Spanish we're talking about are much bigger than just that. They are often offensive. I was sent some humorous examples of this by a Latin American news website called ANMTV, and minor language warning for some of this. The phrase "nos importa un pito," seen here in Pokemon X and Y, translates to "we care very little about something" in Spain, but in Latin America it means "we don't give a fuck." Niña Pia, seen here in Pokemon Sun and Moon, means something along the lines of posh girl or snobby girl in Spain. But in Latin America, it means dick girl. And then in Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, this line here means you beat me by catching me by surprise in Spain, whereas in Latin American Spanish, it means you beat me by fucking me by surprise. Oh dear. And then there's this innocuous line of dialogue in Spanish, which has a pretty dark meaning in Latin America. After battles, I get an urge to sniff drugs like you can't imagine. So, how did things end up like this? Well, it all starts with the beginning of the Pokemon game series. In 1996, Pokemon Red and Green were released in Japanese. In 1998, the games were translated and released in English. 1 year later, in 1999, they were also released in Latin America, in English still. Then, in the year 2000, the games finally came out in the region in Spanish, except it was just the same translation that was used in Spain, so it had all of those same kind of errors as seen before. But then, for the next 10 years, the only versions of the games released in Latin America at all were the English ones, no Spanish translations to speak of. It wasn't until the 3DS era, when Pokemon game cartridges started coming packed with multiple languages all on the same cartridge, that Latin American players could finally start playing the games in Spanish again. But again, this is Spain Spanish we're talking about. And the Spanish translations of the Pokemon games are kind of weird anyway. They're not very neutral, they're packed full of slang that only locals can understand. Heck, sometimes people from Spain can't even figure out what some of these lines are meant to mean.
La chachipiruli requete guay del yayayay ultra mega chupi fruchi guachi punchi. La chachipiruli requete guay del ayayay ultra mega chupi fruchi guachi punchi.
So, with no signs of anything changing, in December 2021, a news website called ANMTV decided to take action. They first published an article detailing much of what I've mentioned throughout the video. And then they tried again and again to reach out to the Pokemon Company with little success. When they did finally get a reply to their questions about a Latin American translation, this is what the reply said. "Hello, thank you for contacting the Pokemon team. We appreciate your inquiry. The Pokemon Company International does not accept or consider unsolicited ideas, and we cannot review or respond to idea submissions. We appreciate your understanding and your continued interest in Pokemon." Oh no. When ANMTV tried to further explain the problem, the Pokemon Company International responded, "As we have provided all available information for your multiple requests on this issue, we will now consider this matter closed." So, in other words, it seemed like a resounding no on the issue of a Latin American Pokemon localization. Now, at this point, things seemed pretty hopeless, but ANMTV decided not to give up. They used all their connections throughout the world of Pokemon to release a pretty incredible video, I think. It explained the issue at hand, yet again, but it was narrated by the Latin American voice actors of Brock and Ash Ketchum, Gabriel Ramos and Gabriel Gama. Check it out.
Hola, ¿qué tal amigos? Yo soy Ash Ketchum de Pueblo Paleta y él es mi compañero Pikachu.
¡Pica, pica!
Y yo soy Brooke.
Y hoy venimos a hablar de algo muy importante.
And this video garnered a major reaction. It was seen by over 100,000 people, for one, and it was reported in all kinds of major gaming outlets across the world. IGN in Latin America, Game Explain and Anime News Network in English. Plus, the story was also picked up by mainstream news outlets in Latin America. And the video was also seen by the legendary Nob Ogasawara, the man responsible for single-handedly translating every Pokemon game into English from 1998 to 2008. He is a huge figure in the Pokemon community, and after seeing ANMTV's video, he commented, "I did not know that the Spanish translation was inadequate, and worse, even derogatory in some instances for Latin America. It does seem tragic and short-sighted to ignore an obviously huge and growing market. I hope the loyal fan base can compel Nintendo, Game Freak, and the Pokemon Company International to make the change." In their video, ANMTV linked to a change.org petition they created about the issue. Right now, it has over 20,000 signatures. With all of those signatures under their belts, alongside reporting from so many news outlets, and even the backing of multiple Pokemon voice actors and translators, you would surely have to imagine that the Pokemon Company International would feel compelled in some way to respond. They did not. This all happened back in early December, and after January passed with no action on the part of the Pokemon Company, it seemed like things might be grinding to a halt. But then, at the beginning of February, there came a huge surprise. Because all of a sudden, a job listing appeared on the website of the Pokemon Company International, advertising a job for a Latin American Spanish localization editor. And that's huge. Obviously, nobody outside of the Pokemon Company knows exactly what this role means for the series, but the timing seems far too convenient to be a coincidence. No, I think this may well be a sign that going forward, the Pokemon games will include Latin American localizations. Obviously, it's far too early to know for sure, And with Pokemon Legends Arceus releasing without any kind of Latin American Spanish language option, there's a long way to go. But I think this may be a sign. Clearly, if fans make enough noise and keep spreading the word, then real change can happen. And I think that's pretty cool. Hi, thanks for watching. And also huge thanks to ANMTV for reaching out to me about this issue in the first place. And of course, they were the ones single-handedly responsible for raising the word around the world. Well done to them. Anyway, I'll see you next week then. Adios. See what I did there?